What if the daughter your family called a failure secretly became a multi-millionaire? And one day, they walked into her office, begging for help, without knowing who she really was. 10 years ago, she was thrown out of her own house for choosing her dreams over their expectations. No money, no support, just one small bag, and a mysterious key her aunt gave her. Everyone thought she would come back, broken, begging, proving them right. But she didn't. She disappeared. No updates, no success posts, no signs of life, until one email changed everything. Dad lost his job. Mom's drowning in medical bills. Can you help? And that's when she made a decision, not to send money, but to call them, to her office. The same office, inside a tower. They thought people like her could never even enter. And when those doors opened, their entire reality shattered, because the girl they rejected now owned everything they were standing in. But what she revealed next wasn't just shocking, it completely changed their lives forever. I used to believe I didn't need their approval. At least, that's what I kept telling myself. Standing in my glass-walled office overlooking Seattle, the city humming quietly beneath me, I felt untouchable, controlled, distant from everything I left behind. Then an email appeared, from Maria. Dad lost his job. Mom's medical bills are piling up. I know you're struggling too, but if you can help, even a little. I let out a dry laugh. If only they knew the truth. 12 years ago, I was just 16, standing in our cramped living room in Tucson. My acceptance letter to a prestigious art school sat on the table, glowing like a doorway to another life. My father didn't see it that way. Art? He snapped, waving the letter like it was worthless. That's not a career. You're throwing your future away. My mother stayed silent, as always. I have a scholarship. I tried to explain. I've saved money. I can make this work. No. He cut in. You'll study engineering like your sister. End of discussion. But something inside me refused to bend this time. No. The word hit the room like glass shattering. His face hardened. Then get out. If you think you're so independent, prove it. So I did. That night, I packed everything I owned into a worn-out duffel bag. Maria stood in the hallway, shocked. You're really leaving? I have to, I said. I can't live someone else's life. Before I walked out, my mother quietly pressed something into my hand, a small velvet pouch. Your Aunt Sophia wanted you to have this. When the time was right, inside was a silver pendant and a tiny key. That night, alone in a cheap motel, I unfolded the note that came with it. If you're reading this, you've chosen yourself. I'm already proud of you. And in that moment, I knew something. I wasn't just leaving home. I was stepping into something far bigger. But I had no idea that one small key would unlock a secret worth more than I could ever imagine. The next letter from Aunt Sophia changed everything. The key opens box 132 at Puget Sound Credit Union. Inside is what you need to begin. The next morning, my hands trembled as I handed over my ID. The safety deposit box was small, but what it held wasn't. Inside were antique silver pieces, old documents, and a letter written in Sophia's elegant handwriting. She hadn't just been collecting pretty objects. She had been building a legacy. The jewelry wasn't ordinary, it was rare. Art Nouveau, early Art Deco, pieces passed quietly through generations, hidden in plain sight. The letter ended with one instruction. Take these to Marco Duca. He will know their value. I did, and when Marco finished examining them, he looked at me differently. These pieces, he said slowly, are worth over $400,000. My world stopped. But then he said something even more important. You have an eye. Most people never develop that. Have you ever considered learning this business? That was the moment everything shifted. I said yes. Marco became my mentor. He taught me how to spot authenticity, read history in objects, negotiate deals others couldn't even see. By 19, I launched a small online store. By 23, I opened my first boutique. And by 26, I wasn't just surviving. I was building an empire, but I kept it hidden. No headlines, no announcements, no family updates. To them, I was still struggling, still small, still wrong, and I preferred it that way. Until that email. Can you help? Even a little? I picked up my phone. Maria, I said calmly, bring Mom and Dad to my office tomorrow. She laughed. Your office? Like that shop you worked at? No, I replied. My real office. There was a pause. Where? Rainier Tower, Silence. You can't just walk in there pretending. I smiled. I don't pretend anymore. What they were about to see would completely shatter everything they believed about me. The next morning, I stood by the window, watching their old SUV pull up, 30 floors below. Even from that height, I could feel their hesitation. They didn't belong here. At least, that's what they thought. Miss Russo, your family has arrived. My assistant's voice came through. Send them in. The door opened, and everything stopped. My father froze first. His eyes scanned the office, the polished floors, the skyline view, the rare antiques displayed like museum pieces. My mother stood silent, overwhelmed. Maria looked like she'd stepped into the wrong reality. This, my mom whispered. What is this? I smiled gently. My office. My father shook his head. No, you work retail. You live in a small apartment. I walked over to a glass case. Actually, I said calmly, I'm the founder of a private antique firm across the West Coast. Maria blinked. The tower? I own it. The room went still. Then came the anger. You hid this from us? My father snapped. We're your family. I met his eyes. I didn't hide. I built. I sat down and gestured toward the folder in his hand. Now, let's talk about your mortgage. Silence swallowed the room. Confusion turned into something else. Fear, because they didn't know yet how much I already knew. And what I revealed next would shake them more than the truth ever had. I turned my laptop toward them. Since we're being honest, here's my current balance. $14 million. The air changed instantly. My mother gasped. Maria dropped everything she was holding. My father said nothing. Then I slid a file across the desk. You're 3 months behind on your mortgage. Foreclosure has started. Maria stammered. How do you even know that? I didn't hesitate. I own a controlling stake in your lender. Silence. Heavy. Crushing. I looked at each of them. Dad's risky trades. Mom's medical debt. Maria's failed investment. Every secret. Laid bare. You knew. And said nothing? My father asked. I stood up slowly. Do you remember what you told me when I left? His eyes shifted. Don't come back when you fail. I held his gaze. I didn't. I walked to the window. For 10 years, no support, no belief, just me. Then I turned back. But now, suddenly I matter? No one answered. So I continued. I can fix everything. Hope flickered instantly. But I raised my hand. There are conditions. The room froze again. Because what I was about to demand wasn't just about money. It was about change. I'll clear your debts, I said calmly. Save the house. Secure your future. Relief flooded their faces. But silence. Dad, you retire. No more risky decisions. He nodded slowly. Maria, you leave real estate and follow your original dream. Her eyes filled with tears. Mom, you open that bookstore you always wanted. She covered her mouth, overwhelmed. And one more thing. They looked at me. We go to therapy. Together. That one hit the hardest. But this time, no one argued. Because this wasn't just about money anymore. It was about healing. They left that day changed. And for the first time, so did I. Months later, Dad apologized. Mom opened her bookstore. Maria found her passion again. And me? I stopped hiding. Because real success isn't proving others wrong. It's finally believing you were right all along. On my desk still sits Aunt Sophia's locket. A reminder that the greatest thing I ever discovered wasn't wealth. It was my own worth. And if you've ever felt underestimated, just remember your story isn't over yet. It's just getting started.